Friday, March 1st, new month, new winners on the way. Yesterday, we went 3-0 to finish the month of February to cap off an amazing month here on DYF Bets family. But guess what? I've got 3 more winners for you today. Let's get into it. What's up, guys? It's your boy Noble Living back with another DYF Bets video where I'm breaking down my favorite picks and plays of the day as you just try to get to the bag together and make some money. Like I mentioned yesterday, we're celebrating a sweep. It was long overdue. Let us go. We needed that, baby. Cashing on the Knicks and Warriors under, cashing on Tarleton State on the spread, cashing on Wembanyama rebounds. Let's get it done. Now you can see our year-to-date record for the month of February. We finished off 47-37 here on the channel, 56% hit rate, 10 games over 500. That's exactly what we need. We hit 54% in January. Now we built on that a little bit in February, and hopefully with March Madness around the corner, guess what? We can build on that even more. 81 and 66 so far on the year. Love to see that. Let's keep that momentum going. If I've made you some money, if you enjoyed these videos or you just like the winners that we're dropping, if you can smash that like button and subscribe to the channel and share this with somebody you know who sports bets. We just hit 300 subscribers. So guess what? I think tomorrow for college basketball full Saturday slate, I'm gonna do a plus 300 parlay, and then if it hits, I'm gonna give away all the money that we make on it, all right? To people who subscribe to the channel. So I appreciate all the love and support, guys. Now let's dive into these best bets. For my first best bet of the day, it's March, so you know what that means. It's March Madness. We have a crazy slate of college basketball on today, and it's a crazy slate in the way of not a whole lot of games that I really want to bet in all honesty, but there is one game that I do want to check out besides that Dayton-Loyola Chicago game. I think that's going to be an amazing matchup. I just don't have a read on it right now, even though I do lean Loyola Chicago to win that one, but I'm going to go to the Ivy League. And we've got Cornell taking on Penn today. On the road is Cornell, but I've got them winning -3.5, -125 odds. Now it might be at -4 on your book. I am going to pay for the hook juice here. I'm personally going to take this all the way down to 2.5 at -140. You don't have to do that, but that's what I'm going to do. I think Cornell is going to win this game. KenPom has this as a 4-point win for Cornell. Now, before we break down why Cornell is going to win this game, it's just kind of similar to the same angles that we've been exploiting here on the channel over and over again, which is teams that have something to play for now that we're coming down the stretch of the college basketball season. Let me break down a little bit what happens in the Ivy League according to the standings, right? It's not the same like any other conference where every team makes the conference tournament. Every team has a chance to fight their way into the NCAA tournament. The Ivy League is completely different. Only the top 4 seeds make the conference tournament. So if you're in the bottom part of the conference, you don't have a chance. Well, guess where Penn is? In the bottom half of the conference. They're 2-9 in conference, so they're out of contention. Dartmouth is out of contention. Columbia is out of contention. Well, Columbia has a little bit of a chance with them, Brown, and Harvard fighting for that last spot. The top 3 teams in conference, Princeton, Cornell, Yale, all 9-2 in conference play. So now you can see this game has a lot riding on the line for Cornell because they need to win this game not only to stay in contention for the number 1 seed, but they could literally drop from the 2 seed where they are right now all the way down to the 3 seed. You don't want that. They still have a chance to win the regular season championship. So that is why I'm leading with Cornell in this matchup. Penn is 2-9, like I said, in conference play. Nothing left to play for. Mathematically not going to make the conference tournament. And Cornell is just the better team. Ranked 70th on offensive efficiency, 25th in tempo. They can shoot the ball very well. They're the number 1 team in college basketball in 2-point percentage field goal wise. And they're also number 10 in effective field goal percentage on the offensive side of the ball. After losing in their last game at home to Brown, which was a big upset for Cornell, that is what took them from the top seed all the way down to number 2 into this 3-way tie. I expect them to bounce back today. Now, Penn, they're coming off an away loss to Harvard in their last game, but Penn's defense is just not good. Ranked 298th in defensive efficiency, ranked 322 in effective field goal percentage, ranked 329th in turnover percentage. They don't cause turnovers. They don't stop anybody from the 3-point line or the 2-point line, and you're only giving me 4 points. I get it's a road game, but there's a lot on the line for Cornell. I'm not overthinking it. Take them on the spread today. A lot to play for in that conference when it comes down to seeding wise. So take Cornell -3.5 as the first best bet of the day. Now, for our second best bet of the day, we are going to go to a player prop here in the NBA, and I have to go to Karl Anthony Towns over 21.5 points, minus 115 odds on Bet365. Make sure you shop around here. Now, Karl Anthony Towns and the Minnesota Timberwolves are taking on the Kings today in what should be a pretty good matchup between two playoff teams, or at least the Kings are trying to stay in playoff contention here, and you know the Wolves are right there, the top three in the NBA. And I think that this is a great game for Karl Anthony Towns to absolutely grub. He struggled in his last game, only scoring 13 points, but that game was against Memphis, so it wasn't really expected him to do too much. But over the last few games, his scoring touch has been there. He's gone over this total of 3 of the last 5 games, including 28 points against the Nets, 22 points against the Bucks, and then 23 points against the Blazers. And then he's also scored 24 against the Clippers, 33 against the Bulls. So when it's a good opponent, we've seen Karl Anthony Towns really step it up. And I also like the fact that the Kings give up a ton of points to power forwards and centers. The Kings give up the 3rd most points in the NBA to power forwards, so I expect Karl Anthony Towns to be able to grub on them. They've only played once this year, and that game was back in November, but Karl Anthony Towns had 27 points on 9 of 15 shooting in that matchup and 4 of 5 from the three-point line. So I'm expecting similar volume from Karl Anthony Towns today against a Kings team that has struggled against guarding big men all year. Karl Anthony Towns is averaging about 27 points per game over the last 5 games and about 22 points per game at home this year as well. So I like all those numbers. And like I mentioned, Sacramento has struggled against big men. In their last game against the Nuggets, Aaron Gordon, he went off for 17 points, and that's Aaron Gordon. That's a high number for him. Earlier this month, he also played them at Kings, and he scored 25 points in that matchup. The Clippers, they played them earlier this week as well. Guess what? Kawhi Leonard, 20 points in that matchup. Karl Anthony Towns, I expect him to be able to get similar success. We've seen big men be able to eat and grub against this Kings team. So give me Karl Anthony Towns over 21.5 as our second best bet of the day. Now, our third and final best bet of the day, we're going with another player prop, another 21.5 point line. We're going to go down to New Orleans as we got Brandon Ingram over 21.5 points, minus 120 yards on BetMGM. Now, Brandon Ingram is taking on the Indiana Pacers, in which is kind of like a baseball home-and-home matchup. These two teams faced off, I think, on Wednesday of this week. Brandon Ingram did have a good game in that matchup. He had 30 points, and he didn't even shoot it that efficiently. Only 8 of 20 from the field, which is still 40%, and only 1 of 5 from the three-point line, but still managed to score 30 points against a Pacers team that we know does not stop absolutely anybody. So points are going to be going up, shots are going to go up, and I expect Brandon Ingram to eat today. Now, the Indiana Pacers give up the 2nd most points to shooting guards, and they give up the 4th most points to small forwards. So guess what? Brandon Ingram is going to be right there in the mix. The volume has been there as well for Brandon Ingram, which you love to see over the last several games. He scored 30 points against the Pacers on Wednesday. He scored 24 in the game against the Knicks, which is a pretty good defensive team. 22 points the game before that against the Bulls. And then he had a few lower scoring games, but that's when they played the Wizards. That's when they played Memphis. That's when they played Portland. So not really 2 games that he really wake up for, right? But when he played good opponents like the Lakers in the game before that, 22 points. He went out for 41 points against the Raptors earlier this month. So we've seen Brandon Ingram being able to score and put up points against weaker defenses, and I expect him to be able to do the same thing today, averaging 22 points over the last 5 games, averaging 22 points as well at home. The shot volume should be there, as he's averaging about 17 field goal attempts per game this year. So for me, I'm not overthinking either of these picks. It's just going against the trend that we're seeing. These teams struggle against these positions. I think that CJ McCollum is still a little bit banged up. He should play, though. Zion, same thing, a little banged up, but he should play. Then we also saw in that last game that Valanciunas didn't play a lot of minutes because Coach Willie there for the Pelicans mentioned that they want to go small. So if they go small, that means that more emphasis is going to be with Brandon Ingram, as he's going to be playing more of a big man role, which gives him that whole mid-range. No Valanciunas there to clog up the paint. So I expect Ingram to be able to eat against a Pacers team that's playing no defense at home today and the second night of facing the same team. So give me Brandon Ingram over 21.5 points as our third and final best bet of the day. Well, that is it for me today, my friends. 3 best bets, 3 winners that are headed your way on this Friday slate. Give me Cornell on the spread, as they still have a lot to play for there in the Ivy League Conference. Give me Brandon Ingram over 21.5 points against a weak Pacers defense. And then give me Karl Anthony Towns over 21.5 points against a Kings team that gets killed by big men. If you want more best bets and more picks in place, click the link in the description. Join the free Discord group, as I think I have another spread that I also like in the NBA. I'm going to give it out to my team right now. So click that link, join the free group so you can get that winner. I'll see you guys tomorrow for a full college basketball slate, and I'll give you a plus 300 parlay as well. All right, my friends, let's get to that money. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Dictate your fate, and let's have a night. Later, gang.